Welcome back to the channel, Corporate Crime Dynasty. Today, we are diving deep into the criminal underbelly of Morocco, a country known for its rich culture, historical landmarks, and booming economy. But behind the scenes of its glistening cities and thriving industries, there are some dark family legacies, powerful criminal dynasties operating across the shadows. These families have built empires, not just from business, but from money laundering, trafficking, and ruthless crime networks. In today's countdown, we are about to expose the top 5 richest, most notorious criminal families in Morocco, families whose vast fortunes have come at a terrible cost to society. From extortion to smuggling, fraud, and even violent crime, these dynasties have controlled and manipulated both legal and illegal systems for generations. But despite their criminal pasts, they remain untouchable, continuing to wield incredible power. Their wealth? Well over billions. You won't believe what these families have gotten away with. Until now. So before we dive into the details, make sure you like, share, and subscribe for more mind-blowing content on the darkest secrets of corporate crime. And don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments section below. We love hearing from you. Number 5. The El Fassi family. Net worth, $2.5 billion. The El Fassi family, hailing from the heart of Casablanca, started off with legitimate business ventures in construction and hospitality. Their rise to prominence, however, was not as clean as their well-known public image might suggest. Beneath the surface, they've been heavily involved in the illegal arms trade, laundering money through a network of shell companies, and using their hospitality chains as fronts for smuggling operations. The El Fassi family's empire began with construction, building high-end hotels and commercial real estate across Casablanca. Their legitimate business allowed them to make connections with Morocco's political elite and business moguls. But as their wealth grew, so did their criminal activities. What started as small-time bribery and extortion evolved into large-scale smuggling operations, and soon enough, the family was neck-deep in the arms trade. The El Fassi family used their legitimate businesses as perfect cover for illegal activities. Hotels were used as meeting points for shady deals, while shipping businesses helped them transport arms across international borders. Their ability to launder money through multiple countries made it almost impossible for authorities to trace the profits. Thanks to long-standing ties with politicians and high-ranking officials, the El Fassi family managed to remain untouchable. Their connections provided them with protection against any legal action or public scrutiny, leaving local law enforcement and even international agencies struggling to find any real evidence. They were not just criminals, they were also masters of manipulation, controlling entire sectors of the economy. While there have been multiple investigations, the family's grip on Morocco's political system has ensured that any attempts to expose them were met with swift retaliation. As of now, the family still operates in the shadows, with minimal legal consequences despite multiple allegations of corruption and criminal activity. However, whispers suggest that their empire may be crumbling as international law enforcement gets closer to them. Number 4. The Benes family. Net worth, $3 billion. The Benes family is one of the most notorious names when it comes to organized crime in Morocco. Hailing from Rabat, the family initially gained wealth through smuggling operations in the 1980s. However, their empire quickly expanded, taking advantage of Morocco's economic growth and infrastructure development. Their wealth was built on not just smuggling but also on bribing officials to ensure that their business operations ran smoothly, no matter how illegal they were. What started as a small-time operation eventually became a criminal empire. By the mid-90s, the Benes family had solidified their place in Morocco's underworld. They were no longer just criminals, they were influencers, operating at the highest levels of the economy and politics. Their business empire extended into real estate, tourism, and agriculture, all while funding illegal smuggling rings in and out of Morocco. At its peak, the Benes family controlled an extensive network of drug trafficking routes across North Africa and into Europe. The family's smuggling operations were incredibly sophisticated, with corrupt officials protecting their routes from any disruption. The family's role in the illicit trade of rare artifacts and weapons only added to their illegal fortunes. The Benes family leveraged Morocco's weak legal structures, bribing key law enforcement figures to look the other way. In return for hefty kickbacks, they were able to create a near-impenetrable wall of protection. Their criminal operations, fueled by intimidation and corruption, flourished without significant challenge for decades. While some members of the family have been arrested in Europe, no major convictions have stuck. The family continues to operate in the shadows, their wealth untraceable and their connections still intact. They have become one of the most feared criminal families in Morocco, with very few people daring to speak out against them. Number 3. The Slawi family. Net worth, $4 billion. The Slawi family, based in Marrakesh, started as influential landowners. But as their fortune grew, so did their criminal activities. This family is infamous for their deep ties to money laundering operations that extend across Europe and the Middle East. While they have successfully managed to present themselves as legitimate business owners, their wealth was built through controlling illegal markets in Morocco's most lucrative sectors: agriculture, tourism, and arms trade. Starting out as landowners in Morocco, the Slawi family gained wealth by buying up massive agricultural estates. Over time, they became involved in the tourism industry, running luxury resorts and hotels across Morocco's prime tourist destinations. What people didn't know, however, was that the Slawi family was also operating as a middleman in a much darker trade: weapons and illicit goods smuggling. The Slawi family was directly involved in money laundering on an international scale. By leveraging their legitimate businesses as cover, they were able to funnel millions of dollars in profits through a network of companies. Their main involvement was in arms trading, where they brokered deals between rogue states and private military companies in exchange for huge payoffs. Much like other powerful families on this list, the Slawis used their wealth to influence Morocco's politicians, ensuring that law enforcement investigations didn't touch them. They had the best lawyers, the most corrupt officials, and an army of bodyguards to keep their activities under wraps. Despite multiple investigations in the late 2000s, the Slawi family managed to stay free from major legal consequences. However, their grip on the country's agriculture and tourism sectors has been weakened by rising international pressure. Currently, their criminal network remains operational, albeit slightly more underground. Number 2. The Alami family. Net worth, $5 billion. Operating primarily out of Tangier, the Alami family is another influential force in Morocco's underworld. They've earned their fortune through drug trafficking, arms dealing, and an array of financial crimes that involve international money laundering. The Alami family's empire spans multiple industries, including real estate, where they laundered the proceeds of their illegal enterprises. The Alami family's rise to wealth began with a small shipping business that soon turned into a global empire. Their strong ties to criminal syndicates across North Africa allowed them to control large-scale drug trade routes, while their shipping and real estate ventures provided the perfect cover for their operations. The Alami family has long been connected with some of the largest drug cartels in Africa and Europe. Their trafficking operations ran for decades, sending tons of illicit substances through international waters. In addition, they're known for their arms trade deals, smuggling weapons to various conflict zones. Their criminal empire also engaged in large-scale money laundering, funneling their profits through shell companies and offshore accounts. The Alami family has bought off numerous political leaders, business figures, and law enforcement officials to remain untouchable. Through their influence, they've created an entire network that shields them from prosecution, with a reputation for using extreme violence to maintain their dominance. Currently, many members of the Alami family are under investigation by international law enforcement agencies. However, no significant convictions have been made, and their operations continue in the shadows. As their illegal dealings become harder to conceal, it's only a matter of time before their empire begins to crumble. Number 1. The Benjaloun family. Net worth, $8.5 billion. Coming in at number 1 on our list, the Benjaloun family has earned its spot as Morocco's richest and most dangerous criminal dynasty. While officially known for their telecommunications empire, this family has deep ties to illegal activities that span the globe. From corruption to financial fraud and human trafficking, the Benjellounds have built their fortune on a mix of legitimate business and criminal schemes. The Benjelloun family is perhaps the most well-known in Morocco for their legitimate business success, particularly their telecommunications empire, but they've used their wealth and power to create an underground network involved in high-profile crimes. Their grip on both the private and public sectors has allowed them to stay out of the public eye for decades, despite their criminal connections. The Benjelloun family's main criminal activity revolves around money laundering, financial fraud, and human trafficking. They've been linked to several multi-billion-dollar fraud schemes, using their legitimate businesses to funnel money across various countries. The family's telecommunications network also served as a cover for illegal surveillance and hacking operations. With a combination of political ties, corporate influence, and military connections, the Benjelloun family managed to remain untouchable for years. They utilized their wealth and connections to bribe and intimidate anyone who might expose their activities, ensuring their operations continued without interruption. Despite their success in evading justice for many years, recent investigations into their financial dealings have begun to expose cracks in their empire. International authorities are closing in on the Benjelloun family, and it's only a matter of time before their reign comes to an end. As we've seen today, Morocco's criminal dynasties are a force to be reckoned with. These families have built their wealth through illicit means, using their power to control industries, intimidate governments, and manipulate the global economy. But despite their success, each of these empires is facing an inevitable collapse. The question remains, will they be held accountable, or will they continue to thrive in the shadows? As the world becomes more interconnected, the battle between corporate power and government accountability is intensifying. These families represent the extreme cases of what happens when wealth and influence cross the line into crime. Stay tuned, as more revelations about these and other dynasties will continue to unfold. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into corporate crime dynasties. Drop your thoughts in the comments, we'd love to hear from you.